Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is what happens when we have nothing to do and a lot of time to think. We start making some bad choices, or maybe I start making some bad choices, or maybe it's not as bad as I think, and I'm just like trying to be efficient and make some plans and do some things. So I am going to start the process of potentially trying to strengthen up my Bart and potentially get Maria here. And so we're going to enter phase one of my very complicated plan to do so. Basically, right now, where I'm starting is that I need 5 exchange tokens to guarantee really easy access to EX2 Bart. And this is going to cost me about 22,000 lapis. So to do this, I'm just going to do like 2 full steps and then a halfway through step to get that 5th token. And you might be asking yourself, with the state of things, how they are, and how I tend to play the game, why am I doing this? So what it boils down to is I currently have over 92,000 lapis, and this is the content that we are getting for the month. It doesn't seem like we're getting a Clash of Wills based on the monthly bulletin that was missing the Clash of Wills info. A lot of you guys who watch my stuff know that I really like Clash of Wills and focus on Clash of Wills. So why am I pulling for these non-Clash of Wills units? Basically this is what we've got for the month. And so I feel like because I invested in, some light units, I want to keep that light train going, even though I know that theoretically down the road, future stuff could be stronger with other elements. I've got kind of a good thing going for light right now. So making my light team stronger would be a lot of fun for me. Potentially, getting some new units would be cool. And so I'm making some choices here. I'm gonna spend a little bit of lapis, and that's gonna leave me with 70,000 going into next month, which is decent. I know that typically you probably want more lapis for anniversary, which typically happens in June, but 70k plus whatever we get between now and then, plus login bonuses, plus whatever they shell out and give us for anniversary, which usually is pretty nice. I think we're gonna be okay. And I think that it's a decent investment to guarantee getting EX2 Bart. So why am I doing this continued? Currently, I have actually already planned out my team for the upcoming World of Visions event based on the information and boss rotation from the wiki. And I'd like to have my Bart be EX2 to make him a more viable contribution to the team. And having Maria here would not hurt with that either. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. You know how you can go into Dark Visions and kind of replay the old fight and do some testing and some chaining and stuff like that. I built a rotation based on what we know about the upcoming World of Visions event, and tested it against the last Dark Visions boss. I know it's not a 1-for-1 comparison, right? And this team is geared and built around fighting machines, not fighting stones. But still, I swapped out the killers, made sure everybody had the right killer for stone, and we're doing some pretty nice damage. And this is with Bart only at EX0, definitely not using a good setup for him. But with everybody else, we're doing some nice damage. And I'd like to take this a little further. I'd like to make Bart a better contributor to the team, and possibly even swap out Deity of War Tyvis, although he's doing just fine. I would love to swap him for Maria, if we can, right? And so I would always rather go with something that is a guaranteed power increase rather than random pull. So just kind of hoping to get lucky throwing randomly to try and get Maria is really reckless. But I'm not focusing on Maria. I'm focusing on Bart. I already have 1 copy of Bart. He's been in my fragment dungeon. I've got some VIP coins. All things possible, and putting everything together, I can get EX2 Bart by doing a couple steps on this step up. And if I possibly get Maria along the way, which would be really, really cool, at that point I reevaluate and potentially move on to phase 2, which could include, spending a little bit more lapis to try and make Maria stronger, because an EX0 Maria is not going to do me much good. But we've got some resources we could go with, and that's kind of where I'm at as far as wanting to try and go with getting a Bart. You know, if I get Bart along the way as well, that's going to change the plan too, because then if I get Bart and Maria, then I can use those fragments or those tokens on Maria, you know, or something else. So we can kind of evaluate as we go. But my current plan here, just to kind of go back to it, is to spend 22,000 Lapis to get these 5 exchange tokens, which is going to guarantee us easy access to EX2 Bart. And so without further ado, I'm going to dive into it. This is going to basically be 2 full steps and then a half step. So we'll go ahead and start with our first step here and hope for the best. But, you know, the problem, or the good thing about this plan is that we're getting what we want no matter what with a planned investment. So here's step 1. I have too much time on my hands. I'm thinking too hard about this. Like, you know, but this is where we're at without much else to do in the game. As I think a lot about and make these really detailed, complicated plans. I do like to make things a little more complicated than they have to be from time to time. I have been accused of that, and nothing so far. And that's kind of what we were expecting. Hey, getting Ellie here though, like the Rainbow Ellie, is really good because her TMR is really, or STMR is really good. So I'm not upset about that at all. Let's go into our next step here where we get our first token. This is token number 1 and exchange ticket number 1. Now, with 5 exchange tickets, there's not going to be much that we're going to be able to do. We need 10 to pity. This plan will get us halfway to pity, which is kind of where like we might be able to continue going on, depending on what we do. But we'll see how it goes. At this point, though, we're really not pulling. We would love to get the units, but like I'm really more pulling for the exchange tokens. There's an envy. It is a graph. You know, this is my 3rd copy of graph, so I'm not upset about that. Cool. More copies of the STMR. You know what I mean? I would have preferred somebody else, but you know we're not going to complain about that. He is on banner. You know, he's there. It's a risk we're willing to take. But that is our first token. Cool. So here comes our second token. Let's see how we do. All right, here we go. Sorry about that interruption. All right, this is token number 2. Oh man, no NVs here. That's all right. That's all right. Because the next pull is free, which is the best part about being a token, right? Or being a step, is that it's free. So we'll see what we get. But we're getting there, you know? All right. It's a rainbow. Happens to the best of us, you know what I mean? Hey, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so this doesn't really change the plan a whole lot, but it does make getting EX2 a whole lot easier. So we are well on our way now. It does make me think about keeping going, though. We'll have to evaluate as we go. All the way? Aww. Either way, we got Bart. Very cool. So that was a free Bart, totally free Bart. Now both of my Barts have been free. So now we're starting our second lap, and we're gonna go all the way through this one and then halfway through the next one. Very, very cool. Should I skip through these? I don't know. I like looking at them. You know, somebody went to all the trouble of programming and designing what this looks like. I like looking at it. Come on, all the way, all the way. Faye and more Ellies. You know, I'm okay with it. Here's token number 3 out of 5. I don't need any more Fays. I guess I could make more like NVA Fays for like more bonus points for the raid, but or the farming event. But like, I don't know. I do wish that it didn't take so long to farm the event, but it is what it is. All right, I'm gonna skip through these. Okay. Hey, there's an Emeralda. Interesting. All right. Here is token number 4. Getting that Bart means that I can get EX2 Bart without spending any VIP coins. That is very cool. So, yeah. So what we really need to do is get a Maria here. Oh, more Ellies, yeah. More of that STMR, this is fantastic. What we really need to do is get an Ellie here, or not an Ellie, a Maria. That way we can invest in her. That's what we really need if the game wants to cooperate. Here's our second free pull. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, nothing here, just, well, unless you count more Ellies. I mean, goodness sakes. I did ask for an Ellie and it gave me one. All right, so we have 2 more steps to go. So we've got 4 more pulls and then 8 more pulls. And hopefully we get something good here, but what we're really here for is that 5th token. So let's go ahead and do that and see how we do. And then we'll see what our next phase of the plan is. All right, 2. Okay, I have it already, so that's cool. I mean, mine's EX1, so progress towards EX2. You know, not that it's all that valuable, but there you go. And we have 1 more here. Let's see what we get. EX3 Irvin is what we got. Holy cow. Okay. I mean, when am I going to use him, right? But I've got him, so EX3 Irvin. That's kind of fun. Kind of a fun little treat as a bonus, you know. Not on banner, but, you know, Irvin. And here's our last pull. So depending on what happens here, we may reevaluate the plan a little bit and see how we are doing. But let's go ahead and grab that 5th token. And then we will make some plans based on that. All right. Here goes nothing. Unless these upgrade. Come on, all the way, all the way. All the way. Oh, bummer. Okay, so there we have it. So we have our 5 tokens, and we did get 1 Bart along the way. So I'm gonna take a minute here and stop and kind of reevaluate what I want to do next, and potentially move on to phase 2. There's a piece of me that really wants to now that I'm scratching the itch. You know, it's like I want to keep going. But for now, I'm gonna stop, and we'll see what happens next. Hopefully that was fun. See you in a bit.